Welcome back. Now that we have your Aida cloth to the 3x6 size and folded so that it kind of meets in the middle there, and we have our, hard to see on my blue sweatshirt here, we have our string ready in our sewing needle. The next thing that we're going to do is start stitching. That's really all it is. We just get started. And they have patterns out there, everybody, that you can purchase. You can use a pattern from something else. You can also download them from a lot of sites. A lot of 4-H sites and books have them as well. I just took graphing paper. We have this laying around our house, and I found a pattern that I like, and I made it myself. We are going to just do some very simple hearts. So I created a pattern of a heart that is, let's see, it's 13 across. The middle square where our heart comes together right here in the middle is our middle. And then we have 6 on each side, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's our widest. Counted cross stitch is really all about math. Love that? Maybe not love that, but counted cross stitch is about math. So the important thing that we have to know is we have to find the middle of our work, and we have to count the width of our work. So we have 13 wide by, let's count how many tall we have. Let me get a pen here so we can count it. Let's see, we'll count from the top here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11 at the bottom. So we go 13 across by 11 tall. This is counted cross stitch. We are going to just make the outline of a heart. So now that we know that we have 13 across, we have to find the middle of our Aida cloth as well. So the way that you do that is by counting your squares, your actual blocks that you have there. And I like to use my pin needle to count because everybody is a little small. So I count from where the fold is. 12, I don't count in from here. I count in from here for the folded part. Get what I'm saying there? So what we're going to do is we're going to count in until we find the middle. The other way to do that is to fold your pieces together and make a mark right there in the middle. Do you see that line right there? That line is also your middle. So we're going to count in until we find our middle. For me, 20 wide, so it's my 10th stitch over is my middle. And I'm going to count down 10. So I'm going to count over 10 and down 10. And that's where I'm going to start my middle heart of my stitch. So I'm going to count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's my middle. And I'm going to count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I like to make that mark kind of big. I stick my needle through and move it around. I like to make that hole we're 10 over from the side and 10 down from the top. I like to make that a little bigger so I can see it with my eyes as I get started. All right, so now our job is to start cross stitching, and you cross stitch by coming from the back. I'm going to open my piece up just so I have a little larger place to hold. You come from the back. So my needle is underneath my work, and it's going to come in to the hole that I made a little bigger right there. It's a little tricky to find sometimes. You can also come around this way as long as you see it right there. You're going to pull your thread up. Now I'm going to flip my work upside down so you can see how that's coming out. Now we have to lock this piece of stitch in. So what I like to do is to flip this down just like that so that it goes up against the top of my work. And I'm going to hold it tight there. To cross stitch, we make a bunch of X's, right? So we're going to put our needle in one up and one over from our first stitch. We're going to go one up and one over, and we're going to needle down through. Now I'm still holding on to that green tail on the back side there. So I don't want to pull too tightly, but we made the first part of our X. I'm going to flip my work over one more time, and you'll see that that's what it looks like on the back side. So now we have to cross our X because it's counted cross stitch. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up one underneath that stitch there. We're going to go down from the back to the front, and you'll see that we're coming down on the other side of that. All right, so we've made our first half of the X, and we have this tail here, and we have our string that's connected right here to our thread. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this stitch, or the tail end, I'm going to pull it over to the side, and I'm going to make my cross. To make our cross, we have to go down one from where we came through on the first side. So we're going to make our spot there, and I'm going to hold on to that stitch there because this is what's going to lock that in. When I pull this through here, I'm going to catch that tail, and it's going to lock in my end. You can see that coming through right there. And it just grabs that string right there, and it locks that stitch in. So when I flip it over, I can cross back over, and I've made my first X. Just like that. Now, in accordance to what our pattern says here, I have just made this. So what I like to do, everybody, is I like to let myself know that I've done that by highlighting it. So I'll grab a highlighter and I'll highlight that we just did that stitch there. Now I know that that one's done. I'm going to work this way around. So my next stitch has to go one up from that one that was there and over. So we're going to start in this hole here. We're going to go up and one up and one over. And now we're going to come one down from there. Push up. And we're going to cross it back. And we will have made our second cross in our pattern. Again, I made my second one. I'm going to highlight that we've got that one done. And now we have to go, according to our pattern, we have to go one up and one over. So we're going to go up and over. And we're going to cross needle up from the back to the front, up, and then our cross. Up and down. And now we've made our third cross stitch. Another little happy highlight. And now we have three. We have to go up and over one, and then we go 1, 2, 3. First, I need to get my needle through there. Go one up and one over. So we'll go 1. And we can either cross this now or cross all of them at once. We're going to cross them right just one at a time. 1. Another happy highlight. Now we're going to stay in that same row for this next stitch. We're making our row of 3 up and through the bottom. Oh, and I got a little knot there. If that happens to you, just take your time. And if you usually if you pull it nice and easy like that, it'll undo. 2. We'll have to cross that one. And we'll go back down. And we have to do one more. We'll do another little happy highlight. And now we have to do one more in that row. So we'll go up and down on our angle. And then we'll count bottom right to top left. And when we finish that, we have gotten our first 3 down. Now we start doing our side of our heart. So we have to go over and down. So we'll go over and down. Now I think it's always nice to make your crosses from bottom left to top right. So I'm going to work one down here and go up. My needle went through the loop funny. We'll pull that out. We made our 1. And we'll cross from bottom right to top left. And we're working down, so we just have to go to the next one down and pop up from the bottom left to top right. Then we go from the bottom right to top left. I missed a happy highlight, so I'm going to take a break here and get this one down. 1 and 2. We have 2 more to go, everybody. Sometimes it's tricky to find that hole from the back, but if you use the tip of your needle and kind of feel through it, that's how I do it. I just kind of figure out where I am and then adjust my move right there. That's our 4th stitch down. Moving right along, we're going to happy highlight those 2. And now we have to start our angle back down. So we're going to go again from our bottom. We're going to go 1 over. So we'll go from our bottom left to top right. And bottom right to top left. Just did this one. And again, we're going to go over 1, down 1. So over 1, down 1 is right there. Bottom left, top right. And we'll cross it with a bottom right to top left. We just did our 2nd one. To go over 1, down 1, one more time. Now this heart pattern that I have drawn out for you here, what I'm going to do when we finish this tutorial here is I'm going to take a picture of it and I'm going to put it up on our with this video so you can download it yourself as well. Very easy, simple stitches, just crosses, and we just keep going with our pattern, 1 over, 1 down until we get to our peak at the bottom. So we go again, bottom left, top right, then bottom right, top left. If you go the wrong way, you go from the bottom right to top left, that's okay. I just personally like the way that it looks when our stitches are consistent from right to left or left to right. So very much up to you. But I know that even some of our, when things are being judged, I think they look for some of that consistency as well. Now, I think I missed highlighting a few. So the beauty of this is that you can count your work. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I've only highlighted 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and our next stitch will be our bottom one there. I'll also say that they make cross-stitching rings. I think I have one around here somewhere. I'll see if I can pull it out for you in a second to hold your work for you. On larger pieces, sometimes I'll do that, but on smaller pieces like this, I find it just as easy to hold. So it's very much, again, up to you and how you like to work. And just like that, we have finished the first half of our heart. The beautiful thing about a heart is that it mirrors itself on the way back. So we're just going to keep crossing around here. And we'll be back when we get to the top and I'll show you how to finish off your stitches. So I have almost finished my heart. I only have 2 more stitches to go, but everybody, my string is getting pretty short at the end here. And what I want to do is I want to end this off before I get too short. Now my back isn't perfect. I didn't do a perfect job of coming up the way some other people have done that, and that is okay because you know what? No one's going to see the back of my work anyway. But the way that you tie off your end here is you actually kind of stitch it through some of your backs of your work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go through, but not through all the way, just the backs of the stitches here. I'm not actually going, you don't even see my needle through the front. I'm going through the backs of those stitches there and I'm going to pull through here. And I might do that again with another stitch here, just to lock it in a little bit more. I'm going to push through the back side of my stitches there, push through, and then I'm going to trim it off here with my scissors. I'm just going to give it a little trim right there. And that locks in my stitches there, and it frees up my needle so I can once again take off my scrap there. I can take DMC floss that I cut to one small piece. I'll find my next singlet right there. Do you see that singlet? And I'm going to hold on lightly here, hold on to my singlet and pull my singlet there. There, I'm going to pull. It'll make what looks like a knot, but again, don't be freaked out by that, everybody. It undoes itself, I promise. Pull one up, and as soon as we get it out of there, it just releases and lets go. And again, I'm going to thread my needle. Sometimes it's tricky to thread your needle, especially with a needle that has a small eyelet. That's another skill right there. I'm just going to line up my ends so that they're pretty close, and we'll do the same thing. We'll start over and we'll lock in our stitches. So again, I have to come down one. I'm on that stitch that's down one and over one. So I'll go from the bottom left to the top right, but I'm going to leave my tail at the end. Remember, we leave that tail, pull that over to the side a little bit, and I'm going to cross to the top right. And then I'm going to lock that in by stitching the one underneath it there. I don't need that long of a tail, just a little bit. Pull that over a little bit there. There we go. And we'll lock that in. And now I can keep stitching bottom left to top right to cross that one over. And we'll go one over and one down. Bottom left to top right. And then we go bottom right of that cube to the top left. And we have made our first heart. If I wanted to, I could stitch all the way in, but I don't want to do that. I just want to keep making hearts on my bookmark. So again, what I need to do is lock off my stitch. I flipped over my work, and I'm going to put my needle right through some of the backs of my stitches and lock it in. Pull through, and then I can trim that here, and I will have finished my first heart. Now this tail is a little long, so I'm going to trim that up a little bit as well. And there you have it. So what I want you to do is I want you to do that same thing on yours. My next heart, I'm going to count down from my bottom peak here, which is this one right here. That's this and that's this. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, empty, and we're going to cross stitch in the 9th one down. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, empty. We're going to cross stitch in the 9th one. Again, I like to make that hole so I can find it a little easier when I put my needle around. We'll go from the back to the front. We'll have to lock in our tail. We'll leave our tail right there. Bottom left to top right. We'll lock our stitch. We have to go from the one directly underneath it now. Holding on to that string there. And it's locked in there. Perfect. And then we'll cross that one over. And we have the beginning of our next round of hearts. So we're just going to do the same thing over and over again until we get to the bottom. I'm going to make 4 of them on mine. I'm going to do that here, and when I'm done with my 4th stitch, I will be back to show you how we're going to finish up our cross stitch bookmark.